So now we come to the 9th chapter of Bodhicharyavatara, and 9th chapter is on wisdom, sirap, pragya. Sirap is translated a little bit different ways into English sometimes, but here we use the word wisdom. There are two words, sirap and yesi. Most of the time we use, in English they are using the word wisdom for kind of both. Sometimes they try to make a difference, but it becomes a little bit difficult. Sirap actually means she or knowing. Rap means the best knowing. Or pragya. Pra means like best or very much, or gya is knowledge or wisdom or whatever. Yesi is also jnana, so it's not very different in Sanskrit. And usually it's about knowing, and there are two ways of knowing. Knowing about everything, knowing the details of everything, having information about everything, and then knowing the nature of everything, knowing the truth or the way things really exist. In Tibetan we call it Jinye Panchemba and Chittavanchemba. Jinye Panchemba means knows about or details or having information about everything. And Chittavanchemba means knowing how that is, what that is, the nature of thing. It's true, the way things really are. So here it's a little bit both, but mostly about that, knowing the nature of this thing. So now here, basically it's kind of first to make the connection, and then to instruct, to generate this wisdom, and then how to generate that wisdom, and then the activities of that, or the reasons or the benefits of that wisdom. Now the first is this, the first stanza. All these branches of the doctrine, the enlightened sage expounded for the sake of wisdom. Therefore they must cultivate this wisdom who wish to have an end of suffering. In Tibetan, Yenla Dada Tamchin to be Hirap Tundusu. Teshana Dungata Yardubi Hirap says. All these branches or teachings so far, from generating bodhicitta, all the 6 parameters, and all these things that was discussed so far, and all the teachings that the Buddha gave, all different kind of trainings, all of them are taught in order to generate or awaken the wisdom by the Buddha. The Buddha taught them all. The main objective or the main culmination of all these teachings and practices is to generate wisdom. Because, coming. Because the sufferings of the beings, because this is the main objective of all the Dhamma teachings, is how do we free ourselves from all kind of suffering and pain and problem, and bring lasting, lasting well-being, lasting freedom, lasting liberation, lasting happiness. And this can only be achieved through wisdom. Because the main reason why we suffer all this samsaric suffering, all the problems that we have, is because of negative state of mind, negative emotions, anti-habitual tendencies, and negative karma created by those negative emotions in the world. Unless we can change that, we can bring some temporary solutions, some little kind of lessen our problems and difficulties, but we cannot uproot our cause of suffering as long as this is there, negative emotions, mind poisons, and negative karma. And that has to go back. That this way of reacting with negative emotions and habitual tendencies as karma is created by not understanding, not being able to experience the way things really are, because of ignorance, because of not clearly knowing how things exist, how I exist, what is the nature of everything in a deep way, in an experiential way. So therefore, the root cause of all problems and sufferings of the world, of the beings, the human beings, and all of us, is ignorance, not knowing, not clearly seeing, not really truly understanding how, the nature of things, nature of myself, nature of everything else, how things really exist. And so therefore, the real solution, the true solution, the true way of freedom attain the freedom from suffering, causes of suffering, is to have that, this ignorance is, eliminated. And the opposite of ignorance is wisdom. Wisdom means to be able to truly and directly experience how things really are. And that's the wisdom. So once we have awakened our wisdom, then the way we react, the way we see, the way we, act would completely change. Although the way we, how things are is as they are. But so far, the way we perceive things, perceive ourselves, and the way things really are not same and one. That's why we are ignorant. That's why we are confused. That's why we are not able to understand the true nature of things. So when our way of perceiving myself and everything and whole phenomena and how things really exist becomes one and the same, then we have wisdom. Then we don't need to react the way we do now in a samsaric way. We don't need to react with negative emotions like aversion, attachment, jealousy, pride, arrogance, with doubts, with confusion. We don't have to do that. So therefore, our way of experiencing things would be totally different, awakened, enlightened, So therefore, if you want to bring an end to the suffering of yourself and suffering for all other beings, what we really need to do is to generate wisdom, awaken the wisdom, to bring that wisdom out. And it is possible to bring out that wisdom because our consciousness has the capacity to know, how things really are. So therefore, if we can somehow get rid of our misunderstandings, our wrong perceptions, our wrong way of seeing things, or our misguided way of reacting to things and assuming the way things are, then we can actually awaken our wisdom. And it's very important to do that, but it is not easy to do that because we are so much conditioned. We are so much conditioned. We have so much wrong ways, wrong views, and wrong habitual tendencies, and so much addicted in the wrong way of saying things, and so therefore we need lots of different kind of training, starting from right kind of motivation to working on our generosity, discipline, and patience, and all these 6 parameters are necessary to train, to bring this, because it's not just an intellectual thing. It's not just intellectual understanding, it's an experiential understanding. It's complete, different way of experiencing. So therefore, it's beyond our concepts and intellectual. So that's the now. Second, how to generate this wisdom, how to awaken our wisdom.